What happens when you go from gentle to mental? Hmm? Well, you're about to find out as I talk about the Farley brothers, me, myself, and Irene. Bad Days, Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name's Dual, better known to as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 2000 black comedy Me, Myself, and Irene, released by Fox, directed by the Farley brothers. It was released 2 years after the success of There's Something About Mary. It's starring Jim Carrey in his first film for the studio and his second film with the Farley brothers, next to Dumb and Dumber, which I have yet to review that. I'll review that sooner or later. Carrey stars along with Renee Zellweger, Chris Cooper, Robert Forster, Richard Jenkins, Daniel Green, Anthony Anderson, Jared Mixon, and Mongo Brownlee. The film's about a Rhode Island state trooper who, after years of continuously suppressing his rage and feelings, suffers a psychotic breakdown that results in a second personality. While this film may have gotten dissed and what have you, this was, well, maybe not completely dissed and what have you, but it's gotten mostly, well, it kind of was a little dissed, but it's now mixed as of now. Sorry about that. Anyway, let's get into our story. Veteran Rhode Island State Trooper Charlie Bailey Gates has been taken advantage by those around him, including his wife Layla. Almost immediately after their wedding, she begins to cheat on him with their wedding limo chauffeur, a dwarf black man named Shantae with a genius-level IQ. Despite his friends warning him of Layla's infidelity, Charlie denies it, even after she gives birth to biracial triplets who also appear to be geniuses. A few years later, Layla leaves with Shantae, abandoning her children. So Charlie raises the triplets, named Jamal, Lee Harvey, and Shantae Jr. as his own. While the boys love and respect Charlie, the rest of the town continually abuses him. After years of such treatment, Charlie develops a split personality named Hank Evans, to deal with the confrontations Charlie avoids. Emerging whenever Charlie is under extreme stress, Hank is an over-the-top, rude, and violent person reminiscent of characters played by Clint Eastwood. A psychiatrist prescribes medication to keep Hank suppressed. Yep. Yeah, it really happens in YMCA. I really like it when Charlie starts to become Hank in this grocery store scene after he talks to this woman. And, two kids get ahead of him, and so he's like, and then picks up what the vaginal cream is like. Fetch cleaner. What's the matter, honey? Oh, extra cheese on the taco. Yeah. Yeah. And, well, believing that Charlie needs a vacation, his commanding officer orders him to escort the beautiful Irene Waters from Rhode Island to Messina, New York, where she reportedly committed a hit and run. Irene insists her mob-connected ex-boyfriend Dickie fabricated the accusation to keep her from revealing his illegal activities to the authorities. In Messina, Charlie turns over Irene to two EPA agents. A hitman with a contract on Irene's life kills one of the agents. Irene and Charlie flee, hastily leaving his medication behind and allowing Hank to emerge frequently. Charlie is unjustly blamed for the murder. FBI agents begin pursuing him and Irene, as do two crooked police officers in Dickie's payroll, both Shane and Gerke. The chase becomes a media spectacle, alerting Charlie's sons to his predicament. Yeah, boy, that just well, I'm gonna try not to use a strong language because you hear nonstop strong language along the way. I mean, Gerke says, "Tell him, how was I supposed to know your dad was a nutcase?" And Leroy Harvey's like, "Oh man, that ain't no nutcase." And apparently, Jamal's like, he may have that medication because it's hard to say, it's a mixed words, but he is a very gentle person. And boy, once he's Hank, he's like, oh boy. Irene's trying to defend herself, and in this one scene, it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. What's the fuss? Tell me what's happening. Oh boy. Believe me, he's like, as Hank, he's a complete nutsoid or something like that. And he even encounters this dude throws away a cigarette on the ground. Oh boy. Right now, where was I? Oh yes. Charlie and Irene return to Rhode Island, bonding along the way. Though Irene has taken by Charlie's personality, Hank worries her, as his aggressive personality and overestimation of his own toughness often gets him into trouble. Along the way, they pick up Whitey, an albino waiter who claims to have killed his entire family. While stopping at a motel, Hank convinces Irene to have sex with him impersonating Charlie. When Charlie realizes what happened the next morning, he is incensed and begins fighting with Hank. They are almost ambushed by Bochet and Gerke, but Charlie's sons, having found them, steal a police helicopter and call in a false report stating Charlie and Irene had been apprehended in the woods nearby. Alright, now for the ending. As always, you have 5 seconds to stop this video. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below. If you've seen the movie already, please continue on after the 5 seconds are over with. Thank you very much, and here we go. Okay, you've been warned. Anyway, Charlie and Irene leave Whitey at the hotel and board a train back to Rhode Island, but Dickie boards the same train, having been ordered by his police allies to get his hands dirty. He kidnaps Irene and Charlie chases him, working together with Hank to save her. Hank balks when Dickie heads onto a bridge, but Charlie finally stands up for himself against his fears, thus permanently nullifying Hank. As Charlie tries to disarm Dickie, he shoots off Charlie's thumb. Whitey then throws a lawn dart at Dickie, hitting him from behind and killing him. Charlie and Irene fall from the bridge into a river below, and Charlie's sons arrive to rescue them. Regrouping with Whitey, Charlie apologizes for making him kill again, but Whitey reveals he made up his backstory for fear of Hank. The police arrive, but quickly learn of Irene's plight. Gerke and Boshin are arrested, and Charlie is praised for bringing them to justice, and Irene is cleared of the charges against her. So, Irene prepares to leave Rhode Island when the police pull her over, but this proves only to be a diversion to allow Charlie to propose marriage to her, which she happily accepts. Then, after the credits, there's a post-credit scene. Everyone looks for Charlie's thumb in the river. Whitey finds it, but at the last second, a fish eats it. End of story. So what did I think of Me, Myself, and Irene? Well, I'm going to say this was a guilty pleasure of mine. I haven't seen it in several years, but this film is absolutely crazy. Despite it got mostly close to bad, but more mixed than bad, the film, however, went on to become a big success. It went on to make $149 million worldwide. Now, well, Rotten Tomatoes says on their consensus, they say that while Jim Carrey's comedic skills earn some laughs, the film sports a tired, unsatisfying plot. Well, hey, I'm understanding and what have you. However, once it was released, it was actually not. No, scratch that. I'm misreading. Before the film even came out, the film came out on June 23rd, 2000. Before this, the National Alliance of Mental Illness sent a letter to the studio arguing that the film contains an inaccurate portrayal of this dissociative identity disorder. In the letter, the executive president of NAMI said that the film perpetrates a myth that schizophrenia, a severe biologically based brain disorder, is a split personality, and criticized how the studio was seeking to dismiss such concerns with claims that the film is only a comedy, saying that for millions of Americans, schizophrenia and other mental illnesses are no laughing matter. Well, Namie asked the studio to release public service announcements explaining real life schizophrenia and did. And the DID. That, of course, is dissociative identity disorder for short, as well as Jim Carrey to explain the differences between the two during interviews promoting the film. Anyway, it got released on physical media. Of course, I have a video cassette of it on, and of course, it's a special edition. It also had a big soundtrack with, with music done by Pete Yorn and Lee Scott. Now, who Yorn actually wrote the original score. The movie soundtrack contains 8 covers of songs done by the band Steely Dan, which, let's see, only include a few I'm familiar with, like Smash Mouth doing Do It Again and The Marvelous Tree doing Reeling in the Years. There's also songs from Third Eye Blind, Hootie and the Blowfish, and the and of course The Offspring with their song Total Immortal, and also the Foo Fighters Breakout, which P.S. I'm sorry to hear about the loss of Taylor Hawkins, the drummer of the band last month. Sorry to hear about that. Rest in peace, man. There's other songs in here, but they aren't included on the soundtrack. But anyway, the story isn't too bad, but the music's very good. Now the cast is really good. I like Jim Carrey's portrayal of Charlie and Hank. They're both good. Renee Zellweger's performance as Irene is really good. Chris Cooper plays Gurky, not too bad. And Richard Jenkins plays Bo Shane. Now after this, Jenkins would go on to appear in a film the Farleys would actually produce, but not direct though, and that was the underrated Say It Isn't So, which I also haven't seen in years. It would be released by Fox the following year. Let's see. Playing the Colonel is Robert Forster. Let's see. Daniel Green plays Dickie. And as for the guys, Anthony Anderson plays Jamal. Mungo Brownlee plays Lee Harvey. And Jared Mixon, who we mostly know him as the younger dude in the Clump family in the Nutty Professor films. He'd also go on to appear in another underrated film, The New Guy, after this. He plays Shantae Jr. Tony Cox plays Shantae himself. Let's see. Also, I like... Let's see here. Michael Bowman, who's introduced as Whitey, Casper's his real name. And our narrator is Rex Allen Jr., who, that's really something. And I really like that as well. But anyway, this film is absolutely twisted, but still it provides a lot of fun and what have you. I mean, I especially just like that music that plays when Charlie's becoming Hank. Can't be too sure what the song is called, but well, it's just so I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, with all that said, would I recommend Me, Myself, and Irene? Well, I'd say it's a draw between maybe give it a one-time watch or sure, go ahead. I mean, if you're a Jim Carrey fan and you really want something really crazy, then this would be right up your alley. But only to be on the safe side, maybe give it a one-time watch. So now you know about Me, Myself, and Irene. What are your thoughts on this here black comedy? You can tell me in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Join me next time when I bring to you a review of another Farrelly Brothers film, and that would be The Three Stooges. Thanks for watching, and if you like this, consider checking out my reviews for these other films. In the upper left-hand corner is my review for the Farrelly Brothers' There's Something About Mary from 1998, Or if you want some more Jim Carrey, you can see my review of Liar Liar, which turned 25 last month in the upper right hand corner. Or if you want something even more warped down and twisted, go to the bottom left hand corner and see my review of the Tom Green flick known as Freddy Got Fingered. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.